you went back to 11 Saturday night?
Yes.
In a back-to-back situation, when you have an emotional, presumably overtime win in game one, does that make it harder or easier to gather focus for game two?
I think it makes it harder. Yeah. Talked about that just briefly already. Yeah, I think it makes it harder. It was a great day yesterday, a great day for hockey. I thought Edmonton played well, we played well, our fans were great, it was emotional, it was a fun game to be part of. Now you got to come back and get all juiced up again. It's hard to do. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Does the fact that you saw Philly recently make it maybe easier to prepare in the wake of that, because you kind of know what to expect?
That's right. Yep, it does for sure, because it's fresh, and it was one of the nights, and I think it might be the most chances we gave up in a game at even strength all year. So, there's lots of clips of them racing through the neutral zone and getting good chances against us. So, yeah, it's fresh enough. I think that guys should have it on their mind.
If I recall, that game was the third period went the way you guys wanted it, but the first two were played kind of their style. You definitely preached that, where we have to play Kings hockey right from the start and have lost one.
Yeah, and you can say that, but I think it's clear for us, with just being 10 days ago or whatever it was, the difference in that style of play during that game, how it flip-flopped once we got ourselves together a little bit. They're dangerous. They're a dangerous offensive team.
Is there a way to prevent maybe the game from being so open like that at the beginning like it was last time?
Well, it's your focus more than anything. It's you're just getting dialed in and know what's coming. And again, I say it a lot. It's 82 games. It's hard to be on that every night, but if you can get enough guys there and then maybe take some other guys a little more time, but you got 10 or 12 guys who are setting the tone, that makes it easier for everybody. And I think if there's one thing that we've done well as a team this year, it's that. Maybe it hasn't been everybody, but it's been enough to get the group to come along and get it back on the rails.
Jim, I know you talked about Arthur Kelly yesterday in his situation, but just looking at him for a second, really tough situation for him. He hasn't played a lot of hockey, going back to last season and the injury. What is something he can do to get back in the lineup? Because he's certainly on the outside looking in. He's in up to speed because of the injury. I mean, what can he possibly do? What's the conversation with him? How he can get back in the lineup?
Yeah. It's a really hard situation for him. I agree. And he practiced with us in a red jersey, so he hasn't even had one NHL practice, with the guys. And I know he played in the American League and he did well. So for him, it's going to be we got to practice. Not tomorrow, next day. So that'll be his first team practice. That'll be a start. Really, the way I'm looking at it, that's like day one for him. So, then we'll see where it goes from there. But, yeah, tough break for him this year so far.
Forgive me if you kind of answered this in last night's press, but Quinton Byfield, was that his best game this season, in your opinion? Or how would you evaluate it?
Yeah, he did a lot of things well. I think, the first two things, he scores a great goal, and the overtime winner, you look at that and you say, well, it's got to be the best game of the year. But he did a lot of other things, too. He was out against McDavid a couple times in D-zone. So there were some other areas. He had a really good finish on a check on the wall. So he showed us the number of different areas of the game that he can touch positively. And so all that considered, beyond just the goals, then I would say yes, because he had his physicality and he had good stick in D-zone. There was lots to like about his overall game last night.
Jumping off of Quinton, his game, his entire line was really good last night. Does that maybe give you a thought of really riding them tonight, really going heavy with them early, playing them along, especially to start the game, or is it just kind of business as usual with your line?
Yeah, I would say business as usual. Somebody's, it's back-to-back. Quinton played it was 21, I think. He played quite a bit. Folks played a lot for his typical. Gino even played a lot for, I think, might have been close to one of his season highs. So, we're going to need everybody. I got 11 forwards. Definitely, I would think, as I stand here now, Sammy should get a little more ice time tonight. Those guys, we're going to need them for sure. So we'll see how it shapes out. Sometimes one line's going better than the others, and you don't know night to night. And so I hope that Kopitar's line's going better, and we ride them a little bit more, or Deneau's line. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say. They'll get theirs, though. They'll get enough.
Still 11-7, but would it be the same 11, or is there a chance?
No, Andre Lee's going to play, and Akil won't tonight. Yeah.
Is that just to get Andre into a game, or is there a reason outside of just trying to get him back in the fold? Was there something you didn't like about Akil's game? What was the thought process?
No, want to get Andre back. Yeah, he got in the Washington. He spent all trip with us. Got in the Washington game. He's been up, so I want to definitely get him back in, and want to get him and Sammy out there together a little bit. And they're usually pretty good together too. Those two.
The Byfield line is currently the tallest line. You have 2'6" guys, Byfield 6'5", whatever he is. Putting Andre Lee back in, is that also maybe to try and get more size in the lineup, or is it just other factors?
Yeah, no, not necessarily. I mean, we like his size, like how he plays, and I think he was more physical, more aggressive earlier in the year, Andre, in preseason and early in the season. I think that's maybe gone away a little bit for him. Not that he hasn't, played that game, but I think we need to see a jump in his intensity. So I'm looking forward to seeing that out of him tonight. He needs to raise his level of the game. I think Sammy's done that. I think Andre's due now.
Talk about the jump in intensity for him, but having the 11-7 setup, those two bottom guys maybe don't get as much ice time as normal. It's kind of, they get thrown in and out of things. Is it maybe more difficult for a guy like Andre to come in after not playing for a while and then have that limited ice time, the jumbled lines, and then be more intense? Does that make it harder for those guys?
It could. Somebody has to do it to stay in the league. That's the way it is, and that's one of the things about. I'm going to go back to Louis, because Louis is over the years, especially he's not played as big of a role as he has in the past, been able to do that, and that's the value in that. It's hard as a young player. Yeah, it's difficult. Somebody has to do it, and the people who can do it, they get jobs. They stay in the NHL, and then they build themselves up, and they get a bigger role over time.
Circling back to that timeline on Cali, we talked about practice being day one. It's hard to predict the future, but with so few practices, does that mean conceivably he could go 3-4 weeks before drawing into a game?
I don't know. I don't want to put any timelines on it with him. Yeah, I hope not, but I don't want to put any timelines on it.
Jim, with Trevor Moore being day-to-day, right, what you said yesterday, is there any update on how he's feeling today?
Yeah, no update. Still day-to-day, and he's doing a bit of skating with some of the other guys, so, coming along.